6,000 years ago, this land echoed with the thundering hooves of bison and the voices of Indigenous peoples from across the northern plains. On the bank of the South Saskatchewan River near Saskatoon, Wanuskewin still echoes with the stories of the people who gathered here. This is the story of a land that could have been lost forever without the incredible foresight and perseverance from a small group of people who identified this area for its rich history and archaeological marvel.
This was a cattle ranch on the north end of Saskatoon with the old rancher lived by himself. And I worked with him on the ranch and told him that there was a lot of archaeological things here that are pretty important. Well, where do you start? You've got to get the money to purchase this property. We couldn't let it lie fallow because the city was even growing fast in those days. And so the notion was, well, we had to develop it to save it. This is about First Nations culture history, and First Nations needed to be involved in this. And the decision was 40 years ago, we're going to join you in this venture.
Wanuskewin Heritage Park became a provincial heritage property in 1983. In 1987, it was declared a National Historic Site, and in 1992, the Interpretive Center and trails were open to the public.
One elder said they thought that this was supposed to happen all along. And so we moved ahead. We had no money, so we had to raise significant money to build the building. I knew the day that it opened it was too small, but that was, of course, the funding we had available.
Fast forward to 2013, ideas of a minor renovation to exhibit space quickly turned into a $40 million fundraising campaign with the ambitious goal of transforming Wanuskewin into a world-recognized cultural destination.
We got the idea out into community and realized the goal could be bigger. And when the campaign rose up to the $30 million mark, we knew that the capacity for change and growth, it's now or never. The commitment of those individuals along the way, the passion for the park, the wanting something, a legacy project, a teaching tool for Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, and beyond, it was very critical for all of us. So that sort of helped us state our course. What are we teaching? What are we imparting for knowledge? And how do we make this an international destination? We've always maintained, when we were looking at the fabrication of the building, the iconic peaks that Wanuskewin has become to know. You're traveling down the highway outside of Saskatoon and you see these peaks emerge out of this valley. That is our look. The cedar shakes, the wonderful building, the glass, the ability to let light in and out of this space to keep it a natural, free-flowing, open environment. That look will continue. It'll just be a lot bigger.
With the fundraising campaign nearing completion, and with years of planning and consultation, including involvement from the original architectural and design firms, work is already beginning on the building expansion, new exhibit space, and state-of-the-art children's playground.
Delivering on that now is where we're at. And so even just looking over your shoulder today, I see a man hammering footings into the ground and up to our future expansion. So everybody is pulled together to make this, from the financial donors to the construction to our elders and our guides. From beginning to end, this is a 4-year project, so it will be done in phases. And I think it's important for local community and beyond to understand is that we will not be closing, that Wanuskewin will continue with vibrant programming, things to see, things to do. Our galleries, our art galleries are hopping right now. This will take 4 years, but Wanuskewin will be accessible, and there will always be something new to see when you come. The playground structure is going to be something unique you haven't seen in Saskatoon before. But we still keep very much sort of traditional teachings involved in that. And the spaces is circular design, seating for teachings. We have a traditional garden plan out there so young people and children can learn about traditional plants. So it's not just a place to play and blow off some steam as young children need to do in big parks. It's also a place to learn in a very fun and holistic way.
Across Canada, natural parklands are increasingly being surrounded by agriculture and sprawling urban development. As a fast-growing city, Saskatoon is already reaching the outer boundaries of the park. Perhaps the largest part of Wanuskewin's renewal plan is not only reclaiming surrounding lands to native prairie grasslands, but to return the bison to Wanuskewin's plains.
When we were on the campaign trail all across the country and talked about bringing genetically pure plains bison back to this property, It's like going full circle. We're reclaiming what were agricultural fields, and we are putting that back to natural grasslands. So there is a lot of reclamation work that's being done, and that has started, but we will seed next spring for the first time. The animals should be here in 2020. This will be a herd of 50 animals. That's about the maximum we can handle given our land base. Efforts are underway to make sure that these are indeed genetically pure. No cattle genes mixture. They're as close as we can get to the animals in the late 1870s. Bison almost were on the verge of extinction and have come back. If you look at our First Nations people, including Native Americans, very difficult times, signing treaties, moving to reservations, all around the same time, and I see a resurgence of their culture. It's almost like the bison and our First Nations people are coming back together.
With artifacts that predate the ruins of Rome and the pyramids of Egypt, Wanuskewin stands as a window into some of the continent's earliest inhabitants. That natural and cultural history has prompted the pursuit to have Wanuskewin recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
UNESCO World Heritage designation is very difficult, and it is to get, and it is an expensive proposition. We've made the first hurdle. December 20th of 2017, we were placed on what is called the tentative list. So this is a list of sites across the country that have the potential of achieving this final designation. We will be in Ottawa in November, working with Parks Canada on putting together the formal submission, which takes about 2 years, and then we'll go ahead at that time. So I'm confident. I know what we have here. This is a very special place, and it needs to be on the world stage.
Coming to that understanding that UNESCO World Heritage Site is worthy in the province of Saskatchewan, we don't have one, and we have something of deep cultural significance. Saskatoon, sometimes we're a little humble. And I think once the community understands the richness and the depth of the history here and the culture going forward, and what that means to our own future survival, we'll be very proud to welcome new visitors to Saskatchewan because of UNESCO World Heritage Site designation. I often tell people that you come and see a very beautiful building, you absolutely see some incredible art, but once you walk into that valley, I've had experiences walking through there, and I very much feel transformed, where I can hear the ways of the past, I can hear women cooking, children playing, I can feel a vibrancy. So there's something very special and very spiritual about walking through that valley in a spirit of openness. I think until you do it, you won't really understand what I'm saying.
We've come from a cattle ranch to potentially a World Heritage designated site, and the community built this. We did it. Saskatoon did this. This is a great community. First Nations and non-First Nations together.